he gets into the 95 of Fultz. Here comes the caution.
Flag is dropped here at Daytona, and away we go for the first time. Nicholas Porcel, Sean.
Looks like most get through unscathed. Look at that, there's Reed Gibson. A big move at the inside line of Doms, possibly a little bit of contact.
Now as we've got 3 wide action going through turns 1 and 2.
And they're underway. Eric Hahn takes a nice jump. Wilson hasn't let him go very far.
Nice to go out here for Circuit Spa Francorchamps. Alex Johnson's off to a brilliant start there.
See just how oddly shaped this one is. We saw in the background Eric Hahn go for a bit of a swing, and he's gone and he's over.
New stuff. Cody Graham's the one-on-one up into second place. Alex Johnson 6/10 lead at the moment.
They're dicey up front. There's Andrew Kessel, Justin Sang.
They are ready to go. The lights are out, and away we go for the very first time here at Oklahoma International Circuit. Finley Fitzsimmons.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the Old Bastards Racing League, the Kimball Cup Series, here at Texas Motor Speedway. As always, I'm your host, James East, with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, bringing the action 1080p 60 frames a second. And good to see the fans already coming out. Jeremy Mayo, Pacman CT, Victor Lane Sports in the house, all cheering on these drivers. Let us know where you're cheering for and who you've got the odds on for. After tonight, we're taking the top 10 into the next round of Chase playoffs, and it is going to be action-packed. Now, last week at Bristol, we had great, clean racing in the Concrete Coliseum, so let's see if these drivers can maybe do it again here as they get ready to get out on track. Now, last week it was Tom Ogle getting his second win of this round of Chase playoffs featuring 18 drivers. So both Ogle and Josh Robinson already locked into the next round, but there's a few drivers still trying to get in the mix. Dustin Martinson joining us as well. And a good point, we've got a full grid here tonight. 43 drivers making their way out. And let's go ahead and run through that starting order. Starting on pole, Dwayne MacArthur, the fast Canadian, the number 83 machine, will be accompanied by Tom Ogle on the front row, starting second. Clay Walker starting third. Lloyd Moore starts fourth. Josh Robinson starting fifth. Kevin Strandberg starts sixth. Brian Lynch starting seventh. Sean Fultz starting eighth. We've got Dan Hill starting ninth, and Greg McDaniel will be starting 10th. There's Chris Bates starting 11th. Cameron Shosey starting 12th. Cycled on back to Joey Buscemi making his way back out, starting 13th. Clint Rice starts 14th. Daryl Whittinger starting 15th. Robert Garisco starting 16th. We've got Alan Wanamaker starting 17th. Wayne Hufford, the friendly Canadian, starting 18th. Brian Glass starts 19th. Michael Watt starting 20th. Dale Copeland starts 21st. Jack Yeagerman starting 22nd. Nick Zautner starting 23rd. Troy Baker starting 24th. Cycled it back once more. James Waldo starts 25th. Jonathan Green will be starting 26th. Patrick Martindale starts 27th, with John Hinchcliffe starting 28th. Jim Smith starting 29th. Michael Dow starts 30th. Lee Warsdale starting 31st. Kermit Gentry Jr. starts 32nd. Michael Mueller starting 33rd. Dustin Martinson starts 34th. Victor Lane himself starting 35th. Jonathan Thier starting 36th. And we're going to cycle it back one final time to Dave Madsen starting 37th. Bruce Pearson starting 38th. Jeff Lyden starting 39th. Brian Lindsay starting 40th. We've got Greg Hammond starting 41st. Mark Fish starting 42nd. And Jeff Hopkins starting 43rd. It's a busy, busy field here today. Got Runk joining us, Runkabus cheering on the drivers. Always good coming out here at the Kimball Cup Series, seeing the packed grids amongst these drivers. As we're tucked in behind our iRacing safety car, we've got 140 laps on the schedule here today. And they're always impressed with the amount of drivers we have out on track. Let's see, pace car is in. MacArthur will set the stage. And we are green flag racing here at Texas. You see Barney, our flagman, waving on an absolutely packed field here today. Ogle trying to work the outside line in the white claw back, number 11. MacArthur up front. Clay Walker and that number 2 Toyota, he's also in the mix. Side-by-side action. I think that's Lloyd Moore and Josh Robinson. Yeah, there's Robinson on the inside line, the number 23 machine. Now, watching practice, the drivers looked very smooth, very consistent. And it already seems like most of the field seems to be content going single file. A little bit further back, Troy Baker making moves, the number 18 machine. He's up 3 spots, just making a pass on Alan Wanamaker's number 74. And a little bit further ahead, I saw another hard charger. That's going to be Clint Rice, the number 6 machine. He's up 5 positions. As you see Cam Shosey, the number 13 machine, trying to fire back. Shosey currently sitting 10th out on track. He's up 2 spots. So it seems about the top 10 seem to be pretty content going single file, and then it's 9th and 10th, Rice and Shosey. Looks like they're starting to get into a groove as well. Michael Watts, the number 84 machine, has Wayne Huffer, the number 75, up on the high side there. And it looks like Jeff Hopkins has come down pit road. Not sure if there was a problem, maybe some sort of mechanical. Not quite sure what happened to Hopkins. MacArthur still out front. A 30.51 his last time by. Ogle a 30.37. Keeping that 83 machine right within striking distance. I wonder if Hopkins maybe had some sort of problem. Let's see if we can get a replay queued up. I wonder if he maybe spun down pit road. I did not see him being faulted with any penalties coming in tonight. Let's see what happened to Hopkins. No, just comes down pit road all of his own accord. I guess all in his own Camry in this case, but yeah, not quite sure what that was about. There's Robert Garisco. He's at the tail end of this lead pack. See Dan Hill, Trash Can Hill, the number 7. He's about a quarter of a second off the back of Cam Shosey. Shosey right there on the back of Rice. So, besides Dwayne MacArthur and Tom Ogle, your top 2, you just saw them briefly at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. The top 10 all linked up nose to tail. Now, looking at the points, I believe MacArthur, if he can just finish well here, will make it into the next round of Chase playoffs. MacArthur 8th in the standings as it sits. Again, we're only taking the top 10. And it's going to be Alan Wanamaker on the bubble here. He's in the currently 10th in points, but you've got Bruce Pearson, Dan Hill, Mark Schrader, Brian Lindsay, Chris Bates, Mike Watts, Robert Garisco, and Troy Baker. All trying to have a good result here tonight to make it to the next round. And talking about Chris Bates and Robert Garisco, there they go side by side for 13th. And you do get bonus points. Ooh, somebody's up high there. That was Sean Foltz, the 95 machine, had some sort of issue, a big checkup. As Foltz falls down, losing 3 spots. We hinted 3 wide, but we're going to have an incident. We saw in live timing, it looked like maybe it was Michael Mueller tied up in something. And let's get that replay queued out as we got our first caution of the night. What happened there? can't quite tell if Mueller, I think that's Mueller and Martindale coming together. I can't tell if Mueller comes up there, Martindale comes down. It's too tough to call. I mean, it looks like Martindale holds his line well. Maybe Mueller came up a little bit, but unfortunately, Martindale is going to take a massive hit in the 93 machine. Takes a tow back to pit road, so he could very well be done and out of it here this evening. And that will put us under eye-pacing conditions for the first time here at Texas. There's Mueller coming down pit road. Yeah, Jeremy Mayo, a good point. That looked like it could be a hardware issue. A good call out there. Maybe sometimes we've seen wheels and pedals just decide now's a good time for a break, and that can usually be a very inopportune time. Now, this is interesting. A large portion of the field coming down pit road. Dan Hill, the number 7, he's going to opt to stay out for track position. Looks like John Hinchcliffe and the number 8 is also going to stay out. Hill rocking the MXPX back number 7 Chevrolet. John Hinchcliffe, the number 8, also on a Chevy. He's going to move up 26 positions. And it looks like Kermit Gentry is going to stay out in the 65 machine. So 3 drivers out of the 41 who were not involved in that incident are going to stay out for track position. A gutsy call here from the competitors. This will be our first brief intermission with the early caution coming out about 9 laps in. We're going to get them gridded back up, double file. It's going to be Hill and Hinchcliffe, the front row. Gentry and MacArthur will make up the second row. Just saw another incident. Uh-oh, something happened under eye-pacing there. Jack Yeagerman takes a tow back to pit road. Pulls over and quits. So Yeagerman must have had something going on, a real-life commitment of the sorts. We will lose another driver there. And I'll be right back in the broadcast booth. Going to grab some cough medicine, so don't go anywhere. We've got one more lap, and we'll fire this thing back up green. How's that for timing? Able to take a shot of Dayquil, get back in the booth right as the pace car comes down pit road. Let's see what Hill and Hinchcliffe can do with 10-lap older tires in the rest of the field as we are green flag racing once more. So again, Hill and Hinchcliffe up front on a little bit older tires. Keep an eye out on MacArthur. Has some fresh rubber underneath him, willing to put it down, and we've got big problems. It is a huge pile up here at Texas. Oh, this is going to take a while to digest this one, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, huge incidents. Looks like Troy Baker. Oh, it's a big list. Troy Baker, Michael Watts, Darrell Winninger, Lee Warsdale, Dale Copeland, Brian Lynch, Brian Glass, Chris Bates, Jeff Hopkins, all tied up in that one. I'm trying to see. This is gonna be an interesting one, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go ahead and get this one queued up. Let's focus in on first on Chris Bates and the number 81. Oh, how's that good for timing? Found the right car there. So you're looking in on Bates in the 81 machine in the middle of your screen. The 84. Oh, I think the 84 comes up on that one possibly. That's Michael Watts. Number 18 getting absolutely clobbered there. Then look at this. It's going to very quickly turn into a parking lot on the Texas backstretch. Now we know Troy Baker had to take a tow back to pit road. But there is hard parts scattered everywhere across the tarmac. Man, that is a huge incident. Very uncharacteristic to see here. Oh, and somebody doesn't hold the brakes. That's a paddling as Brian Lynch gets tagged. Oh, I think, was that Copeland, the 55 machine? Who careened back across the track. Once more for the fans at home, because we're going to have time. Focus in on Dale Copeland. Initial hit is from behind. He sees the incident in front of him, tries to check up. And there we go. So he does lock up the brakes. Credit where credit is due. Just a little bit late there, and unfortunately things just could not get any worse for the field. So again, to give Copeland his credit, he did get on the brakes. It's just there was already so much carnage out on track. We heard from one of the fans, they were noticing that Wayne Hufford barely missed it. So let's see if I can get a replay queued up on board the number 75 machine. Oh my goodness! Look at this onboard. You're on board with Wayne Hufford, the 75. Oh no, that was the number 81, drastically swooped down, and I think from that perspective, we would put the blame on the 81 of Chris Bates, but that's a tough one to call. Yeah, that replay on board with Wayne Hufford definitely shows Bates losing the tail end a good bit there. Now, once again, Dan Hill, John Hinchcliffe are going to enjoy that good track position up front. They want to keep that carnage behind them here at Texas. And we all know cautions breed cautions. Well, let's see our second caution. Very quick spring of cautions. I'm seeing something happen. It showed Nick Zautner involved in an incident. I don't know what that could have been. I wonder if maybe he's just slowing up to allow the field by. He's also having enough. Shows the 41 on the machine, 97 on live timing and scoring. So I wonder if Zautner maybe has had to wait for somebody to pass, or not quite sure what the reason was there. And our pace car will lead the field around once more. Getting everybody gridded up too wide, as far back as the eye can see. It looks like we're going to have 39 drivers. No, let's make it 40 still on track. Troy Baker, Jackie Akerman, Patrick Martindale, I believe, have put it back in the virtual hauler very early on here tonight. Victor Lane Sports joining the spectator area from inside the car. He's got the time while we're under eye pacing. We get ready for the pace car to come down pit road. Our second restart so far of the evening. Bill will set the stage as we are green flag racing. He's got Hinchcliffe up on the high side, but Lloyd Moore, Dwayne MacArthur right behind. Maybe a little bit fresher tires. But if we keep getting less than 10 lap runs, tires might not really be an issue here. If the field gets through turn 2 clean this time, looks like we're going to. And Hill is putting the hammer down, but MacArthur's already moved up into second. As we're on board Dwayne MacArthur's 83 machine. And I believe we saw a downshift there as well. So MacArthur going from 5th to 4th to help rotate the car. And that's definitely going to be a factor as the run progresses. The drivers will do anything to make that car turn in just a little bit better as the field's starting to tighten up just a little bit here. You've got Hill, MacArthur, Hinchcliffe. The top 3, Ogle and Moore, making up the top 5. And look at Kermit Gentry, the number 65. He's opted not to come down pit road yet, and he is up 26 positions with the gamble. And it seems to be going well for him here. If we can keep some sort... I take that back. If we get another caution, I think Gentry is going to be in a really good spot. But if this thing starts to go green, I wonder how the fall off is going to affect him, as we do have a battle for the lead. There goes Dwayne MacArthur up the inside line against Hill. And it looks like Hinchcliffe going to try and follow in that number 8 machine. So now it's going to be MacArthur's turn to get out front and put it down. And there is John Hinchcliffe, still on his original set of tires. He's trying to fend off Ogle's number 11 White Claw backed Ford Mustang. And let's see, I mean, look how busy the field is. The top 5 pretty much all within striking distance. And if you go back to Kermit Gentry's 65 machine, he's still holding on to 7th. That's a lot of fast guys right behind the 65. He's got Clint Rice, Kevin Stramberg. Ooh, I mean, there's Clay Walker, Sean Foltz, Wayne Hufford, Cameron Shosey. Now John Hinchcliffe up in 3rd to set the fastest lap of the race, a 30.1. So feeling good. The tires just now getting to the point where they're going to hit their optimal times. And we had some fans asking about Victor Lane. He is up in 28. Let's make it 29th. Losing 1 spot, but still up 6 positions from where he started. And able to avoid a lot of carnage that happened early on here at Texas. And these drivers have a very low incident limit that they can use up. So an incident for the fans at home. Every time you touch a wall, touch another car too aggressively, lose control, you get an incident point. Drivers only allotted 9 incident points. For an example, again, to the fans at home, maybe not quite used to how things work on iRacing or watching for the first time. If you're involved in a hard impact with another driver during a crash, you receive 4 incident points just for that one hit alone. If you hit 2 drivers in that one crash, that's 8 of your 9 incident points used up already. That low incident point usually helps enforce the clean driving standard here at the Kimball Cup Series. As we watch Gentry fending off Clay Walker's number 2 machine. Gentry way up there against the safety barrier. Looks like Walker going to take a peek to the inside line here through the tri-oval into 1 and 2. And Clay will take over that 9th place spot. And there comes Sean Foltz, the 95 Ford Mustang. He also wants to grab a position. So I wonder if this is where we're starting to see some of the tire fall off become a factor for Kermit Gentry. And it looks like that's going to be Tom Ogle keeping the pressure on John Hinchcliffe. Hinchcliffe going very, very high here, and that's going to allow Ogle up into 2nd place. Now Ogle, he's already locked his way into the next round of Chase playoffs, so not in a huge rush or huge hurry here. Doesn't need to win his way in. He's already comfortably locked in. But this is where MacArthur likes to be. He's out front. He's got clean air. And let's go further back. The battle for the top 10, very heated. Clay Walker made his way around Kermit Gentry, but Gentry's not giving up. Sean Foltz, Wayne Hufford, Brian Lindsay, Dave Madsen also in the mix. Let's give a quick look at Dave Madsen, that 122 Navy-backed Chevrolet, a newcomer here. So the triple-digit drivers not eligible to qualify until they've earned their double digits. That helps kind of get guys used to the field here. But Madsen came down pit road on lap 10 with the majority of the field, has gained 23 positions so far. And we've got side-by-side racing everywhere you look. Boyd Moore side-by-side with Dan Hill. Hill up on the high side, Moore down low. And it looks like Josh Robinson, number 23 machine, starting to slowly work his way up. We haven't talked much about Robinson. He's one of 2 drivers who's locked themselves into the next round of playoffs. So he qualified 5th, currently running 5th. And seems to be just biding his time here. Ryston Hill side by side for 6. Kevin Strandberg, the 58, just behind by about a quarter of a second, less than that now. Watching this battle unfold. Now this is the point where drivers are going to be thinking about long green flag runs and tire management. So I'm not expecting to see any crazy moves at this point. Unfortunately, we don't know what the fuel mileage is going to be for these drivers. Maybe one of the fans might know off the cuff. Another battle going on for 18th. That is Jim Smith and Cameron Shosey. Something must have happened to Shosey as he's fallen back. He is now down to the 18th place spot as he tries to make a pass against the 61 of Jim Smith, but they're side by side. There's Greg McDaniel, the defending champ, the number 1 machine, running 20th. He's down 10 positions, and McDaniel was involved in that early incident. He spent 40 seconds on pit road trying to get that thing hammered back into shape. Josh Robinson very slowly making moves as he grabs 4th from Lloyd Moore. Clint Rice, the number 6 machine, also sitting right behind in tow. We just saw a big blink from Hill, the number 7. That could slow the pace down a little bit. Gotta love Moore's not Days of Thunder, excuse me, Talladega Nights painted car. Referencing his title sponsor is, of course, himself. Victor Lane Sports letting us know from the car it's about a 55 lap fuel run for these drivers. We're expecting the fuel window to close around lap 70 for these drivers if we can keep this thing green. Wayne Hufford battling with Sean Foltz for that 10th place spot. Brian Lindsay's going to grab a position as well. And as you're keeping an eye on the live timing ticker, Wayne MacArthur, he's still out front. He's got a half-second gap on Tom Ogle. No, excuse me, 6/10 gap. Ogle has 2.4 up over his teammate Josh Robinson. But if those Team Miata drivers can link up, I would not be surprised to see them try and track down MacArthur. Now, that Team Miata would be ecstatic to not have to compete with Dwayne MacArthur in the next round or any of the subsequent rounds of the Chase playoffs. But all clean drivers here at the Kimball Cup Series, so not expecting anything too wild up front. We're on board Wayne Hufford. You can see Clay Walker sitting 6 tenths ahead in that number 2 machine. But Hufford in a good spot. He's up 8 positions from where he originally qualified. Man, these guys are still very, very racy. Clint Rice taking a spot away from John Hinchcliffe. Lloyd Moore, Dan Hill watching, as well as Kevin Strandberg in this pack. Yep, a good point out as well from Jeremy. Brian Lindsay, that number 24 machine, is up 29 positions here. Doing a quick check, and yes, he's our current hard charger out on track. Sitting just outside the top 10. He's tucked in right behind Wayne Hufford, 75. Now, Michael Mueller had to come down pit road. Jeff Lydon was able to return to the racetrack after 3.5 minutes in his pit stall. And Hinchcliffe and Hill still battling here for that 6th place spot. Hill working the low line, Hinchcliffe up high. And here comes Kevin Strandberg in the 58 machine. He wants to interject himself into this party as the top 5 are pulling about a half-second gap over the rest of these drivers. So 3 really hard chargers out on track. Brian Lindsay, he's up 29 spots. John Hinchcliffe, that number 8, he's up 21. And the rookie driver, Dave Madsen, in the 122, he's up 25 positions. As a broadcaster, I love watching what the triple-digit guys are going to do. A bit of an unknown here at the Kimball Cup Series. Now, Dave Madsen, no stranger to iRacing, boasts a pretty high I rating from official lobbies. But oh no, what's this? We've got problems. And another caution is going to be thrown. It looks like it's going to be Jonathan Green. Let's see what happened to Green. Oh, did he get a little bit of help there? No, it looks like he's going to get loose all on his own. I thought the number 9 may have tied himself up in the party, but I think Green just gets loose all by himself. And then a little bit of help getting sent around. And a huge hit for Jonathan Green in the 98. Watch that one once more. See who got into the back of Green. And Green was all out of shape there. I want to see who that other driver was. It was the 74. Helping to finish off Jonathan Green after a huge hit. That's going to be Alan Wanamaker, who is also involved in that. Definitely wouldn't fault him for the incident. Just involved, as it looks like the entirety of the field's going to come down pit road. It's going to be a very, very busy pit road here. I'm not seeing anybody opt to stay out, except Jeff Lydon, who's getting a lap back, the number 39 machine. And it looks like everybody I'm seeing return back out on track, opting for 4 tires, so we're not seeing anything crazy as far as strategy calls. Drivers taking extended stays in pit road. It's going to be Chris Bates, Daryl Winninger, Ryan Glass, Mark Fish, Jeff Hopkins, Jonathan Green, and Michael Mueller, who are all going to be in getting repairs done. And this will be our 3rd caution of the evening. Looks like we have 36 drivers out on track after the 43 that have entered this main event. Drivers who have retired are going to be Dale Copeland, Troy Baker, Jack Yeagerman, and Patrick Martindale. Jeff Hopkins, Jonathan Green, extended stays in pit road to get those machines fixed back into some semblance of a race car after some of the hard hits we've seen here today. We got them stacked up double file heading down the backstretch here at Texas. It's going to be Dwayne MacArthur, Tom Ogle on the front row, Robinson, Rice, your second row, Moore and Hill will make up the third row. Just about everybody's on the same tire strategy now. We're expecting one more stop at least to make it till the end. There's Barney, our flagman. The green flag is dropped, and we are back underway. Will the field settle down and get some laps clicked off, or is Carnage going to strike once more here at Texas? Tom Ogle looks like he was taking a lunge against his teammate Robinson. Again, those two are already locked into the next round of Chase playoffs, but they would like for nothing more than maybe pad the old racing resume a little bit. As Robinson working the inside line against MacArthur. MacArthur is not in a must-win situation, but he has to be mindful of the points to make it to the next round. We're only taking 10 drivers to the next round of these playoffs. We got Dale Copeland, unfortunately, joining us from the spectator area after being involved in a little bit of carnage out on track. So hate to see it for the number 55 machine, always a fan favorite. As Robinson on the gas here, and he's got his teammate Ogle tucked in behind now. It looks like MacArthur maybe opting to play it safe, saying, you know what, it's safer with those two drivers ahead of me rather than behind me, where they're going to try and hustle their way through. So I would expect MacArthur to kind of hang out here for a little bit. And just follow the two teammates. If MacArthur can finish third, that should be good enough on points. Yeah, Dale Copeland just saying, hey, kind of bad luck, but it's a very busy racetrack. There's 43 drivers that started this event. Things are bound to happen. And speaking of bound to happen, we're focusing on Clay Walker, the number 2 machine, kind of in the fray here. It looks like that's Kevin Strandberg, John Hinchcliffe side by side just ahead of him. Now, after this pit cycle, it looks like Hinchcliffe is going to be the hard charger, up 21 spots. Trying to make it 22, but Kevin Strandberg has other plans. There's Lloyd Moore, the number 26 machine. So this is very tight racing. Now, Wayne Hufford rolls out of pit road. Looks like Jeff Hopkins, as well as Jonathan Green, will return to the racing surface. Now, I'm interested to see, and I'm interested to hear the fans' perspective. Are things going to calm down a little bit? Or is it going to just be one of those nights, to paraphrase Copeland? It seems like for the most part, the top 10 seems to be content going single file, and two different packs starting to shake up. There's Joey Buscemi. He's at the tail end of this top 10, right in the 10th place spot. Still up 3 positions from where he qualified. He's got about a half second if they pan the camera. There we go, over to Clay Walker. Walker has Fultz, Garisco, Waldo, McDaniel, Gentry, Watts, Lindsay, Shosey, as well as Thier making up the back half of the top 20. Again, these drivers only have a 9 incident point limit, so it's very easy to burn through those points very, very quickly. Easier than burning through the tires, I dare say. But nobody's told the rookie, Dave Madsen, our hard charger. He is up 28 spots and battling fiercely with Kevin Strandberg in the 58, who's running the high side. Let's see if we can get on board maybe with Joey Buscemi, who's right behind this battle. On board with Buscemi, you see Dave Madsen, the 122, the inside line. Strandberg, the 58, right in the middle of the high groove, and it looks like Madsen's going to take the spot. Buscemi following through here. That's going to be interesting to see how Madsen's racing career develops. Boy, something's happened up front. Dwayne MacArthur has taken over the 2nd place spot from Tom Ogle, so now that 83 machine's going to tuck himself between two teammates. And I see some action happening just inside the top 20. That is Michael Watts making a pass on Kermit Gentry. Gentry having a great race. He's up 15 positions. He tried something different on pit strategy early on when we had that first caution, and it seems to be going well for him here. Cam Shosty, number 13 machine, he's down 6 spots running 18th, trying to get a little bit further up ahead, and he sends it big and deep against Gentry. Josie up the inside line. Is he going to make it stick? It looks like Brian Lindsay, number 24 machine, also tucking in behind. I see, is that lap traffic up high as we're forced into a 3-wide situation? I think that was one of the new drivers. Yeah, that was Jeff Hopkins taking the high line to avoid getting in the way of the race, those racing on the lead lap. And that has put Gentry and Shosty once again right back side by side. And something has happened to Darrell Winninger. He was able to save it, I think, but very briefly he triggered the off track for more than a second up here in the broadcast software. Maybe got a little bit loose there. Oh, what a good save. Almost came back into the pack. But well done to Winninger, able to hold on to it. And Tom Ogle seems to be falling off the pace as well. Clint Rice has taken over the 3rd place spot. And now here comes Dan Hill, Trash Can Hill, the number 7, as he's lovingly called from the fans. He's trying to work his way up a little bit higher inside that top 5. Riding right on the back bumper of Ogle's number 11. Now the fans were asking what happened to Wayne Hufford in the 75. Came around the leaders, but he was involved in another big hit, I believe. Hufford, his last pit stop on lap 49. He spent about 30, let's call it 40 seconds in his pit stall, so that would indicate some sort of damage on that machine that he was trying to get fixed up. We'll look up the live timing chart on the left side of your screen so it's easier to see where your favorite driver is. And you can see Hufford down 2 laps, but with the way tonight's been going, I wouldn't fret too much for Hufford and his fans, as it'd be very easy to get right back in the mix, I think, with just one more caution. And Hufford also, I believe, came down pit road by himself one time. Josh Robinson, your race leader, he's been down pit road twice. Hufford down pit road 3 different times. And speaking of Robinson, he's got one Dwayne MacArthur looming in the background. Both Robinson and MacArthur, 1st and 2nd, absolute experts at tire management. They are about, in the case of Robinson, 1/10 off his fastest lap of the race last time by. With about 20 lap old tires, let's make it about 2/10 as Robinson at 30.55, MacArthur a 30.52. Looks like Clint Rice also pulling his way forward in that number 6 machine. The top 5 fairly spread out at this point. If we go back to Dan Hill in 5th, he's almost 9/10 off the back of Tom Ogle, a half second ahead of John Hinchcliffe. But no, that's going to be Dave Madsen challenging for the 6th place position. Well, if we can get a rookie driver up here in the podium celebration, that would be a very happy broadcaster. Madsen on the gas here. Looks like Dan Hill is going to be the next target. While this is going on, Wayne MacArthur is challenging Robinson within 1/10. Let's go back to Dave Madsen. Watch the rookie driver at work up the inside line of Hill. So we know Madsen has the pace, but does he have the tire management? We've seen this before. It is never abnormal to see long green flag runs. In fact, it's more unlikely to see so many cautions. We may have one, though, is Jonathan Thier. Oh, taking a wild ride there in the 34. Let's see what happened to Thier. Looks like he might get loose all on his own. Yeah, loses it out of 4 to the tri-oval. Motor crossing through the grass here at Texas. Look at the air time on that thing. And again, thankfully not drifting up into traffic. Dave Madsen, the rookie, has made his way up into the top 5, up 32 with a 3, ladies and gentlemen. So keep an eye out. If the rookie driver also has long run pace, he is going to be a force to be reckoned with, especially once he's eligible to qualify, once he's earned that double digit. Now MacArthur up front once more, has made his way around Robinson. What has been a very calm, very polite battle for the lead. So as it stands, it's MacArthur, Robinson, Rice, your top 3. Ogle and Madsen will make up the top 5. Now Ogle does have a bit of a breather. He's 1.4 seconds up over the rookie Madsen, as Ogle sits in 4th, a 1/4 of a second off the back of Clint Rice. Now Jonathan Green's gonna come down pit road for a green flag stop. Now he was driving with a pretty damaged race car, so has to be mindful not to run hot if he's got any sort of radiator damage. Now we're expecting the fuel window to close around lap 85, so we've got about 10 more laps left in this run. Nick Zotner has retired. He came down pit road, then took a tow, so I'm not sure we're going to see that machine back out on track, the number 97. So let's see what we've got it down to. 37 drivers still out on track, 6 who have went home early. Oh, we got a report from Victor Lane in the car. Again, big thumbs up to him. Wayne Hufford received a pit road violation, so what I originally called out as damage repaired based off the clock ended up being some sort of pit road violation. Well, there's a heated battle. Michael Watts, Cam Shosey, Brian Lindsay, a 3-car battle for 16th. And we had another driver off track. Yes, it's John Hinchcliffe. You see the number 8 machine on the right-hand side of your screen. But at this point, drivers are getting very, very loose out of 4, trying to chase the car, ending up going through the infield. I've never seen so many drivers cutting the grass before, but And we did have a pretty substantial update on iRacing. That grass can rapidly slow you down. In the past, it was almost like ice if you went through. I mean, look at all the tire tracks through the infield there. Very indicative. Oh my goodness, what was that? Dan Hill gets some help from Lloyd Moore. Hill was able to hold on to it. Looks like those two came together. Get that replay queued up. Didn't quite get it where I was looking for. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get that replay of the contact between the two, but that was a huge save from Dan Hill. Big kudos to him. And we had another driver cutting the grass here at Texas. Let's take a look. This time it's Darrell Winninger. Gets loose, tags the wall, and aggressively cutting through there. Actually triggered the pit road sensor. So it'll be interesting. We might see Winninger come down pit road with a penalty. Josh Robinson keeping the pressure on MacArthur, wanting to be right on the back bumper of the 83 machine if MacArthur opts to come down pit road. They have built up a 1.1 second advantage over Clint Rice, who sits in third. You can see Rice the top right, and that was also Tom Ogle sitting in fourth. Less than 60 laps left to go in today's main event. It's going to be interesting to see when MacArthur opts to come down pit road. Robinson breathing down his neck here. It's going to be very interesting to see how the pit cycle breaks down on this one. Michael Mueller down pit road. So the fuel window officially open for these drivers. If they come down pit road now, they will be able to make it the rest of the way. The fuel window is going to close right before lap 100, depending on who's got the air. Now Robinson's going to save a little bit more fuel here, tucked in behind. And we still have racing across the track. Lloyd Moore firing back against Dave Madsen. Cam Shosey coming down pit road. Now I think most of the drivers are going to try and give themselves, 3 to 5 laps of buffer at the end of this thing, so that way they don't have to worry about possible green-white checker finishes. They'll have enough fuel to account for the remaining race laps and a few extra in the literal tank to make it till the end. Another 3-car battle. Dan Hill, Sean Foltz, Greg McDaniel, 9th, 10th, and 11th. You can also see James Waldo's 89 machine just on the right side of your screen. Here we go, Foltz and McDaniel side by side. Waldo trying to get in the mix. Dan Hill's going to get a little bit of a break here if they keep battling behind him. Look at McDaniel blitzing through there in the number 1 machine. Sean Foltz must have had a big bobble as Waldo moves up as well. And McDaniel feeling good late into the run. Dave Madsen, the rookie driver, that 122, is down pit road for what could be his final stop of the night. We know he's got fantastic short run pace. And you see all the smoke here, Tex. I absolutely love and adore all the tire tracks to the infield. I've never seen that in any of the Old Bastards Racing League events I've called before, especially not here at the Kimball Cup Series. But as the tire degradation plays a factor, definitely seeing more drivers getting loose out of 4. And Greg McDaniel's charging through here. He is feeling very, very comfortable late in the run, working up along the inside of Dan Hill. And McDaniel's going to, I think he's going to take over the 8th place spot here. Hill trying to lean on him a little bit. But I think McDaniel, yeah, is going to be set up here at the line. McDaniel showing ahead by 100th of a second as he crosses the line. And it looked like James Waldo was trying to follow suit as well. Waldo's up 15 positions. Grandpa Waldo now. Robert Garisco rolls out of pit road, as well as John Hinchcliffe. We're expecting the fuel window to close around lap 100. Michael Watts down pit road in the 84. So all eyes are on MacArthur. He's got lap traffic ahead. If he thinks he's going to get slowed up here, I would imagine he's going to go ahead and come down pit road. He's hugging the bottom, but he's going to stay out another lap. And Robinson just kind of stalking that 83 machine. Lee Warsdale, Michael Watts completing their green flag stops. Let's get the live timing tower pull up on your left side of your screen as these green flag stops are underway. Robinson right there in tow. It looks like these drivers are going to run these gas tanks empty if they can. And they're pretty slowed down with the tire wear. Let's see what it is for MacArthur this time by a 31.31. To give you an idea of how much the pace has slowed down, MacArthur's fastest lap of the race was a 30.18. Now Kevin Strandberg, Dan Hill coming down pit road. So as the pace has slowed down 1.2 seconds, that is huge in the world of oval racing, especially when these guys are measuring performance in hundreds, if not thousands of seconds. We did have a driver go off track. That is going to be Mark Fish. hopefully well off the track, so we're not going to have a caution while these green flag stops are underway, and Fish is able to return to the track and not bring out the caution. So it looks like Fish might just have absolutely, yeah, totally missed the pit stop. The pit entry, I should say. Now, I'm not sure if he's going to get a penalty. I thought he was past the commitment cone. Greg McDaniel, Brian Lynch, Jim Smith all coming down pit road. Right now, the top 20 drivers still out on track have yet to box. But we know fuel has got to be getting short for these drivers. I wonder, just for fun, we're not able to see the fuel numbers on MacArthur's dash. I was hoping we'd be able to, but you can see his fastest lap of the race, his last lap, a 31.36 on the dash. So a nice little feature here on the Next Gen Cup cars. iRacing does not display the fuel remaining. So that way, if you're in a very important race, you can't have spotters in the simulation software go check on your competitors. I was hoping we'd be able to. That would be quite the insider's look. As MacArthur comes down pit road, he's going to leave Robinson out. Robinson will get credit for another lap led here at Texas. So now it's MacArthur, Rice, Ogle, Moore, Walker in the top 5 coming down pit road, as well as Sean Foles, James Waldo. So let's see how this bodes for MacArthur. It looks like Robinson's getting set up. No, he's going to stay out even longer here. And is going to at least temporarily leave it with 6 drivers on the lead lap. Once again, everybody taking 4 tires on this stop. Robinson hammering the gas. His lap time is okay, 31.35 for Robinson. Again, his fastest a 30.33, so a full second off the pace. But he's going to be hoping for a caution here, as there's only 6 drivers currently on the lead lap. Those 6 are Robinson, Thier, Martinson, Bates, Glass, and Gentry. You've also got Mark Fish sitting 7th a lap down, who is yet to box. But Greg McDaniel, after his lap 96 pit stop, clicks off a 30.05. Well and above the fastest lap of the race so far. And now Robinson in a bit of a vortex of danger. He's got drivers that are slower ahead of him. He's got drivers with fresh tires behind him. So the 23 of Robinson has to be careful here. Wonder about the strategy here of that 23 machine going for the overcut. Was that the original plan for Robinson, or is that an adaptive strategy after seeing MacArthur come in behind him, or ahead of him, I should say? MacArthur had a very late lunge into pit road. It'll be 35 laps left to go once Robinson crosses the line. Robinson down pit road, as well as Kermit Gentry. Let's see what Jonathan Thier in the 34 does. I didn't realize Robinson had almost a 30-second gap over Thier. Kevin Strandberg answers the fastest lap of the race, also with a 30.05. And Jonathan Thier has got his lap back in the 34 Ford Mustang. Sponsored by Google in that Ford. He is currently up 35 positions, but has yet to come down pit road. Top 3 drivers, Fear, Bates, and Glass, hoping for a caution that's going to put a lot of fast drivers down a lap. As the 56 of Joey Buscemi. Buscemi a lap down, sitting 22nd out on track. Now, this is extremely interesting. Josh Robinson, after that pit stop, 6/10 ahead of Dwayne MacArthur. And now Robinson has 5-lap pressure tires, so maybe the strategy of Robinson going for the long haul could very well bode well for him. I mean, these drivers are so good. At the end of this race, 5-lap pressure tires could absolutely be a noticeable difference. There's Victor Lane, the number 10 machine, trying to stay on the lead lap. Jeremy Mayo noticing it just almost the same time I did. So let's see what MacArthur's going to do, as MacArthur's about 3/10 back. Robinson's got a whole lot of lap traffic ahead. But I think MacArthur's just going to tire save here. And again, MacArthur not in a must-win situation, but that's tough to tell a racer to not worry about winning. A top 3 would be more than fine. I mean, we've seen Robinson and MacArthur put the virtual elbows out in races past. Jonathan Thier finally coming down pit road in the 34. So that just leaves Chris Bates showing as your race leader. But here comes Josh Robinson to make his way around that 81 machine. Oh, and it's a busy racetrack. Robinson trying to put traffic between himself and MacArthur. And maybe if he can get a bit of a breakaway, I mean, it looks like it's working well for him. MacArthur not able to get around just as quick. He's going to lose about 3/10 there. And now has a 7/10 deficit to that number 23 machine. Hard Chargers out on track after the pit stops. Brian Lindsay, the number 24, is up 25 spots. Mark Fish in the 42. He's yet to come down pit road, so he's showing up 24 positions. What happened to the rookie driver as well? We were talking about Dave Madsen, but at some point he retired in the 122. Was up there in the mix. I didn't see anything on a crash report. Chris Bates, Brian Glass down pit road for the final time tonight. So that's going to put Josh Robinson officially back in the race lead, with one Dwayne MacArthur trying to close the gap. MacArthur looks to be in the hunt, very slowly closing the gap. Let's go back to Brian Lindsay sitting 12th. He's made his way around Hinchcliffe. Hinchcliffe trying to fight back, but has about 8-lap older tires. Jeff Lydon coming down pit road. And let's go a little bit further ahead to Kevin Strandberg, who has Greg McDaniel. Ooh, as we pan the camera, what great timing. Strandberg with a huge moment out of turn 2. Able to catch the car. But that's going to give 6th place to McDaniel. Now McDaniel came down pit road on lap 96, Strandberg 95, but at the end of the last run, McDaniel was able to make big strides there and close up to quite a few drivers. McDaniel coming into tonight third in points, so if he can just make it till the end, he's looking very, very good to make it to the next set of the playoffs. Jeremy Mayo giving some good insider feedback. MacArthur, the number 83 machine, currently sitting first on the all-time OBRL wins list. Tied for first. Now I'm going to look something up here. Now, that may very well be the case. I didn't look at the multi-series averages for the next gen or the Cup series that we've run here the last several years of the Old Bachelors Racing League. It's the Josh Robinson show. Out of 178 starts, Robinson has brought home 35 wins so far. So he's been very, very busy in that 23. James Waldo looks like he's going to have company from Sean Foltz. Okay, Mayo, let me know he means every series MacArthur is currently tied with. Josh Robinson, out of all series combined, has 93 wins compared to MacArthur's 150. But MacArthur has a little bit of extra motivation to pick up a win here at Texas. Now, another fun fact, MacArthur has driven 99,000 miles here at the OBRL. And tonight will be his 629th start out of all series combined. 21 laps left to go. Still watching James Waldo, Sean Foltz battling for 10th. Waldo's up 15 spots. Foltz is down 3. And I was going to make a comment about we are finally having that green flag run we were looking for, but I do not want to hit this event with the commentator's curse after the rough start that it had here in the Texas heat. Current top 5 is Robinson, MacArthur, Ogle, Rice, and Moore. Our Charger out on tracks to meet Brian Lindsay, that number 24 machine. He's up 28 spots. Now the 43 entries we had here tonight, 31, still remain out on track. Now John Hinchcliffe coming down pit road very late in the race. Not sure if he had some sort of issue that forced him into that situation. And here's another good race. Michael Watts, Dan Hill battling for 8th. Hill trying to force his way up the inside line through the tri-oval. Let's see what he can do into 1 and 2. Looks like Hill might have it here, as Watts is going to tuck in behind at that 9th place spot. It looks like they have some traffic there. I just saw somebody tag the wall. You've got drivers out on track now with mixed tire strategy. Always a interesting and sometimes exciting predicament to be in. The pace for these drivers is anywhere between 2/10 and 4/10 off their fastest lap of the race this point in the tire run. And Sean Foltz doing a great job keeping the pressure on Waldo, keeping him within 1/10 of a second right on the back bumper. Looks like John Hinchcliffe has hopped out of the car after coming down pit road. That's going to give a couple of spots to Mark Fish, Wayne Hufford, Clay Walker, who are staying out there and battling attrition. But here we go, as Foltz working up the inside line against Waldo. He's been trying to set that pass up for about the last 10 laps, it seems. And up front, looks like Lloyd Moore taking a spot away from Clint Rice, moving up into P4. Rice falling back to 5th. We got Ryan Tebow join us for an oval broadcast for a change. Always good seeing Tebow. Now MacArthur, running in second, has fallen off the pace from Robinson. Robinson's now gained, or made it, I should say, a 1.8 second gap over MacArthur. And it looks like Robinson's going to have some clean air on the front of that number 23 machine. It's going to be 13 laps left to go as Robinson crosses the line, pulling an even bigger gap of the rest of the field. Clicked off a 30.77 last time by. MacArthur running second, a 30.93. But still racing all. Ooh, what did I just miss? Alan Wanamaker, I think that was him getting a little bit loose, or was that Robert Garisco on the left side of your screen? Garisco involved in a heated battle with Greg Hammonds, number 88. Hammond just made that pass, and that is Dwayne MacArthur just stuck in lap traffic, not able to get through like he wants. But with 12 laps left to go, MacArthur's going to need some sort of break here. As Jeremy Mayo's saying, Josh Robinson, he's got clean air, he's got fresher tires. Everything is going the way of the number 23 machine. And you can't even see MacArthur in camera at this point. Just barely, we saw a hint of the 83 machine as Robinson comes through the tri-oval. I think the only thing that could maybe bring home MacArthur that overall most wins here tonight at Texas is going to be a late race caution, which I think the rest of the field is hoping this thing's going to stay green. But every time you get two drivers close out on track, as is the case with Kevin Strandberg and Dan Hill, the chance of a yellow flag being thrown increases. Yeah, Runkstein, the old Bassmaster, Wayne MacArthur, the fast Canadian, just needs a strong finish to make it into the next round. We're taking the top 10 drivers to the next round of Chase playoffs. And I think this is a good one to try and lock yourself in at. Oh, as I say that, something has happened. Robert Garisco with a big moment. We almost had that late race caution we were talking about. What happened to Garisco? Looks like he missed his line, knocks down the wall, avoids getting run over. We're going to add some more tire tracks to the infield. And Garisco doing his part to keep well away from the racing surface. Now, in the drivers meeting, we were told that this was going to be the last round before we whittle it down to 10 drivers. The schedule shows Talladega as the next round, so we'll try and get some clarification on that. But this would be a good one to lock yourself into so you don't have to go to Talladega hoping to survive, because we've seen super speedways. Things can go your way, and sometimes things can be rapidly taken away from you. Robert Garisco down pit road. I would believe he had a pit road penalty after that wild off-track excursion. 6 laps left to go here at Texas Motor Speedway. Watts in that 84, sitting inside the top 10. With Sean Foltz, Kevin Strandberg just ahead. Dale Copeland giving his love and support to Robinson. Trying to see what paint Michael Watts is running here. The Advanced Auto Parts back number 84 machine. Watts always has some clean looking paints. What was that? I just saw briefly. Sean Foltz, Kevin Strandberg were side by side. Somebody got a little bit loose there. I think that was Strandberg. Has the checkup, losing about almost a full half second to Foltz. Watts also heavy on the binders to avoid getting tied up with that. Watts had such good momentum there. You can see him right on the back bumper of Strandberg. And hey, we've only got 4 laps left to go. As I saw somebody with a big hit. I think that was Robert Garisco. Might have got doored there. Garisco. Oh, it wasn't Garisco. I think that was Kermit Gentry. Late in the race, Victor Lane is just ahead of Bruce Pearson. Pearson closing the gap. Victor is up 16 spots, but we're 3 laps left to go here at Texas. And Josh Robinson has a commanding 2.1 second lead over the rest of the field. MacArthur in second, Ogle in third. Two laps left to go. Once the white flag is out, we will have no more cautions here tonight. And I think Robinson's going to put it in cruise control, losing a couple of tenths, but he's got traffic all around and says, you know what, no big reason to push now. Let's just bring this thing safe and sound to the end. And I think really everybody inside the top 5 is going to have that same mindset at this point of the race. Happy for the points. Some drivers going to be locked into the next round of 10. And here we go. Josh Robinson's going to bring home another win of this stage of the playoffs. Dwayne MacArthur will get second. And Tom Ogle will round out the top 3. Robinson's going to enjoy the victory lap here at Texas. As we get our podium photos here, there's Robinson, there's MacArthur, and there is Tom Ogle. 3 absolute titans here at the Kimball Cup Series of the Old Bastards Racing League. And Robinson's going to burn it down for the fans, we hope. Must have left the grip hacks on that Team Miata number 23 machine. There we go. Robinson getting the tires lit up for us. And he's going to burn it down here at Texas. Picking up yet another win. We're going to wait on Robinson, MacArthur, and Ogle to make their way up here to the waiting room. Robinson paid for the tires, and he's going to use all the tires. As it looks like we're starting to get drivers up here to the waiting room. And we're going to get things started with Tom Ogle, the number 11 machine. Tom, able to bring home a third here. It was a rough start at the beginning, but we finally got those green flag runs, and seemed like you had great pace, but maybe the tire fall off was a factor here tonight.
Yeah, I clipped the apron a couple times and lost some spots, and then it's pretty hard to pass. So, and Dwayne and Josh are so much better at the 1.5 miles than I am. So I kind of was hoping something would happen. I could climb up a little bit, but a third for me is like a win here. I don't like this place at all.
Got to take it where you can. And Tom, we noticed a lot of drivers getting very loose out of turn 4 and occasionally out of turn 2. Was that due to the tire wear, the lighter fuel loads, or what was making those cars a little bit tough to handle late in the runs?
It was loose on throttle off of 2, especially if you like let it drift out to the wall and were on the gas, you would get loose. So it was burning the back tires more than the right front. So especially if you're running lower brake bias, you would get heat in the back tires, and then they were really loose. I got really loose behind Clint the one time and kind of clipped the grass a little bit late in the run.
Well, it seemed like all things considered, as you said, a third just as good as a win for you and the team. And speaking of team, you know you got to be pumped. You and Robinson have been dominating this round of the playoffs. But Tom, before we let you go, celebrate with the rest of the Team Miata hooligans. Who do you want to give a shout to that helps make this podium possible for you?
Well, just all the guys in our chat, and Dwayne and all the admins for putting on the race, and you doing an excellent job broadcasting.
Well, thank you as always, Tom. Couldn't do it without you guys, and hope to have you back up here next week at Talladega, my friend.
I hope to be up there.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That was Tom Ogle bringing it home in third. Up next, the fast Canadian, Dwayne MacArthur, the number 83 machine. Dwayne, it looked like a good night all the way around once we finally got some laps clicking off, but man, it looked like lap traffic was really tough to cut through here at Texas.
Yeah, they could be tough. The dirty air was a little bit rough, and you could kind of get held up in 3 and 4 a little bit, that's for sure. And actually, it was a little bit scary every time you try to turn under somebody in 1 and 2. The car was pretty much on edge, so it was one of those kinds of nights.
Well, still a good second place. I think this is going to push you well into the points. And we were talking about, I was looking at the schedule, and maybe I'm confused here. So is this the cutoff round where we take the top 10, or is that going to be decided at Talladega next week?
Be decided at Talladega next week. The plan was to get some points here so I don't have to worry too much. Hopefully at Talladega, maybe I can ride and have a points night, because you never know what's going to happen at Dega. And I'm happy with the points night tonight.
Yeah, I was going to say, put yourself in a little bit safer position, because nobody knows whatever's going to happen at Super Speedway. Sometimes things go well, and sometimes things go terribly. And speaking of Talladega, we saw the big one here tonight at Texas, where we saw about 10 to 12 different drivers involved in a huge early race incident.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to go back and look, but it sounds like it was a pretty big one.
Yeah, absolute bloodbath. I'm shocked that we had so many drivers finish out of that started after those big incidents. But, I mean, you still got to be happy. A good points night in the Toyota. You're still so close to getting those most overall OBRL wins. So hopefully sometimes next week we're going to see you take over that record here.
Yeah, I've been stuck there for a week or so. That's okay. Someday it'll happen someday. I'm just happy to be that competitive at Texas. This is, Josh's best track. I actually feel like I might have had the best car, but he took 2 tires. And seemingly for about 20 laps, it was faster than 4. So definitely I had the right pit strategy. Caught me sleeping there, just like at Chicago. Same thing. Felt like I had him at Chicago, and he took 2 tires, and it worked. So might have to yell at my crew chief a little bit and tell him to get his shit together.
We've been saying it for years, but Dwayne, good job on a second place, my friend. Always great having you back up here, especially inside the top 3. And before I let you go and handle all the business here at OBRL, who do you want to give a shout to that helps make this podium possible for you?
Yeah, just thanks to all our sponsors. Kimball, Victory Lane Sports, Aeologs, Buck Kicker, Sim Racer Hub, Admin Box. Of course, Bass Pro Shops on the car there. And shout out to Team Goon Squad and everything that you guys do for the broadcast. Really appreciate it. Everybody watching, hopefully it was a good show. I feel like there was probably some good racing out there, a little bit of carnage. All the fans like a little bit of carnage. And that's about it.
Awesome. Dwayne, always a pleasure. Thank you for having us up here, and hope to have you back up here in the top spot at Talladega next week.
Yeah, I'll hold on that if it could be maybe at Miami at the end of the year. I'll take top spot.
Fair play. We'll wait till the season finale then.
Yeah, exactly.
All
right, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
Good to see ya.
That was Dwayne MacArthur finishing second, and he made a good point about Robinson. Let's go ahead and get the man, the myth, the legend, Josh Robinson up in the top spot. Josh, we didn't even notice until MacArthur mentioned in the podium interview the 2-tire strategy on lap 104 in that 23 machine. A little bit outside the norm of what everybody else was doing out on track.
Yeah, I threw a little curveball in there.
Now, how did the car feel? I think you were the only driver that took 2 tires at any point here tonight. Was it helping the car rotate? What was it doing that you felt that was the right call? Or was it the track position, gaining 3-4 seconds on MacArthur?
It actually tightened the car up. So late in a run, I was getting a little loose. The right rear was wearing quite a bit. So by taking the 2 tires at this track and with this setup, it tightened the car up to where you did not have to be as concerned about that. And it worked out pretty good. I absolutely hit the lottery on being able to get a good pit stop and stay in front of Tom and Dwayne there. That it's a completely different ball game if I have to make a pass on them with 2 tires versus coming out in front of them with 2 tires.
And talking about the car tightening up over the run, it seems like about 20-25 laps into the run, we are still seeing drivers kind of cook off that right rear tire. Were you running into any of that tonight where we are seeing so many guys getting loose and having to chase the car across the track?
Oh yeah, I was definitely one of them. Late in that, that run from like 50 to 100, Dwayne and I were both kind of taking turns getting loose there, and we weren't loose too much, but you could tell that we were both pushing it and putting the old proverbial egg underneath the throttle.
Yeah, I mean, very, very gingerly getting around here, the hot track at Texas, but you've got to be happy. You were already locked into the next round of playoffs. Now it's for bragging rights. How much relief is that heading into a super speedway race next week, knowing that you're already in it and not having to worry about a good finishing position?
It's pretty relieving. Super speedways are a wild card. They're a blast to race, and they're even more of a blast to race in this league, but they're definitely a wild card.
Well, awesome, Josh. Always a pleasure having you up here, man. The season's going to be really tight as we continue through the playoffs, and you got the privilege, the pleasure, the final send-offs of the evening. Who do you want to give a shout to that helped make this win possible for you?
Shout out to the league. We had a full field tonight and some really good racing. Shout out to the Dwayne, Victor, and the admins for keeping this going. Shout out to you and Gareth for doing the broadcast, and then shout out to Team Miata for all the help during the week.
Awesome, Josh. Always a pleasure, my friend. Hope to have you back up here next week, and congratulations on yet another great win.
Thanks, James. Have a good night.
Thank you, sir. That was Josh Robinson bringing it home here at Texas. He was accompanied by Dwayne MacArthur in second and Tom Ogle in third. On behalf of the Old Bastards Racing League, oldbastardsracing.com, my name has been James East with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Thank you all for showing up, supporting the drivers, supporting the league, as well as supporting the broadcast. We'll be back next week with the final round of this section of playoffs, where we'll take the top 10 drivers to continue their championship dreams. Have a good night, everybody.